So I think the different ethnicities and cultures, thank you, the different ethnicities and cultures are like spices in a kitchen cabinet. Different spices that at various time God uses to like a chef in the
Stir up the
kitchen,
pot.
to make a beautiful dish. I remember one poignant moment when I was walking with my father, and you want to get technical, my stepfather, because I have two dads. You know, my mom remarried. You know what I mean?
Right.
So the point is that, so I remember when he asked me, we were walking on the ranch up in San Luis Obispo, Cambria area, and I remember when he asked me, we were speaking about, you know, the international arena, my term, you know, and I remember when he poignantly asked me, I don't know how you feel about colonization. And I remember he asked me that so poignantly it was like, he spoke to me on a level that we normally didn't talk about, and it was like, I believe colonization needed to happen. I believe there needed to be an explosion of European ideas and consciousness.
Right.
Now, was it done in an improper fashion sometimes? Yes. Okay? There's a group of people out there who are extinct. The Tasmanians. There's actual Tasmanian people, and they're extinct. Like, no more. And I remember growing up, reading the National Geographic book. Yeah, and I brought it to school one day trying to be cool, and, you know, I showed off some quote-unquote jungle titty shots, you know, and I was stupid.
Long necks.
Concerned and stuff. But the point is, I remember opening that and just being heartbroken. So,
that's crazy.
the point is that colonization needs to happen because there's nothing more beautiful in my mind than a dark, black-skinned, dark woman from Africa.
Really?
Who speaks flawless French and her own language and her own native tongue as well. And who's fully confident and can able and fully, I was thinking of a better word. Transcend is kind of, like able to what's the word I'm looking for? Like light as air, go from one culture to another, and not have, you know, and not have any sort of, you know, like it flows without even any sort of putting effort into it. And I remember I was watching this documentary about female, what do they call it? When the woman's clitoris and whatnot is severed off, so she can't feel sexual pleasure.
Yeah.
It's like
Why did they do that?
It's something aside, like well, why they do that is to make women subservient to men. In certain cultures, they believe that if a woman is able to experience pleasure from sex, that she will be unfaithful, which is complete absurdity.
Okay.
So the point is that they have female genitalia mutilation in certain countries still to this day. And so this woman who was African by birth spoke fluent French, flawless French, and was going back to her home country to help educate people about how wrong that is. And the point is that she, for myself, epitomized what I was talking about, was that here's a dark-skinned African woman who is able to light as air without any effort function in both her native African society and her naturalized, you know, chosen society of France. Of, you know,
so
French.
if you were able to run a government, what kind of government would you run?
The point is colonization needs to
That's
happen,
what I'm saying.
and it will never happen again. If I were to run a government, the type of government that I would run, I would have. That's such a good question for someone of my scholastic discipline. What I would do is I would have a board of straight up like National Geographic types, okay? And then I would have, they would be like the ultimate, you know, ones, and then you would have a leader, okay? And then underneath the leader, you would have, you know, fiefdoms and whatnot. I do think, in a natural, purest sense, you wouldn't even have like one leader unless it was elected upon by all the different groups.
Oh.
All right, and so I do believe that the parliamentary, like if you talk about different like political systems, like I do think we need to have more political parties represented in our country. In other countries, most other countries around the world, they have many political parties. It's not so polarized as it is in America. My government would be slightly a few anarchy type leanings.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There should be support, but not support without
Some type of
support
like,
without sacrifice.
r-
There should be
some type of
the
sacrifice.
same sacrifice that is made by those receiving the support should be shared, experienced by those providing the support. What I'm saying is, it's the phenomenon. Take, for example, military service.
Yeah.
You're not going to see, very rarely will you see one of the elite families, and I'm talking about the uber elite, those families who are in control of, like, who's in charge of the basic simple things, water, lumber, things you build with,
Right.
the old money, who is in charge of these things,
Well,
Look.
it's all the
The point is that you're not going to see them send their sons off to an infantry platoon. Very rarely.
Yeah.
Very rarely.
Right.
And so the sacrifice that is made by Private Jones and Private Sanchez and Private Smith and Private Chen and all these, needs to be made by by those providing the support, meaning the government. Okay? So I would do my best to do that, to provide support without requiring a sacrifice
Right.
that me, as the one providing the support, am not ready to make myself.
Right.
And have done so. There would be progression without imposing it, unless it was proven, deemed, accepted, and respected by the people.
Right.
Okay? So if there are certain, like, for example, I do believe in the legalization of women's rights. I believe in legalization of gay rights and the legalization of drugs. Everyone poops, everyone pees, everyone bleeds, everyone busts nuts. And these are all Chris quotes. Okay? So, Christopher Russell Storehaug. So, there would be certain freedoms that people would have to accept. Now, just because you might not conduct yourself that way does not give you the right to put down the next man or next woman, next person, for doing what they want to do. I believe there are 5 laws to human sexuality. No little kids, no animals, not your own family. If you want to split hairs and argue second cousin or first cousin, you can hash that out. But the point is, not your own immediate family.
Yeah.
So no little kids, no animals, not your immediate family. Not people who don't want to be fucked, meaning don't force yourself upon people.
Right.
And the 5th thing is, don't have sex with trees.
Those are your pillars.
Which kind of means don't have sex with trees.
Yeah.
Which is like, literally, you probably should not be fornicating a plant, yet, or at least like achieving ejaculation through the utilization of a plant, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But most importantly, what that means is don't have sex in public places. If you're late at night in a back alley, or by the beach late at night, or up in the mountains late at night, no one's around, yeah, you want to go have a sexual activity outside, I understand. But you can't go in the middle of the mall and do it, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If you're on a campground and if you're a couple tents over or whatever the case is, provide that respect, I'm from the type, it wouldn't bother me if people right next to me were fucking. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But the point is, when you're in a public area, like in the middle of a mall with tons of people around you, or you're in the middle of a fair or some sort, you know what I mean? You know, so those 5 simple laws, and obviously you cannot do stuff like human trafficking.
Yeah.
Is wrong when you know damn well that you're not helping him do it properly. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay? So, and oftentimes what can seem proper might not be.
Right.
Yet you know deep down inside if you're helping that person become a freaking a prostitute, or if you're helping them become a paralegal. You know? It's unfortunate. I think gun running needs to happen to a certain extent, okay? This is something that I recently kind of flipped out on, tripping on, is like the whole NRA stance, you know, how, you know, and I
hear about your five pillars. I hear about those. I listened to about, those are the 5 things, like your statement of faith.
Well, I mean, the 5 laws of human sexuality, yes. Okay. That could be. I've never thought about it like that.
Because usually most churches have a statement of faith, you know.
Sure, that could be the statement of faith. I think if you break it down, there it is. I mean, it basically goes over, you know, we are carnal creatures, and many major decisions in life have been motivated or skewed by or whatever the case is by human sexuality. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think those 5 simple laws handle it. You know, some people say, well, if I want to do a donkey show, it's my choice. I understand, but no, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think, you know, that's just not, you know. So, and I'm able to put myself and remove myself when I thought about this. You know. 5 simple laws, there it is. Thank you.
Yeah.